It looks like we might be moving into a pretty buyer-friendly summer. Let's recap Toronto's real estate market in May. In Toronto's core, sales went up by 6%, which is to be expected as we've seen sale increases from April to May in 5 of the last 7 years. But interestingly enough, the 6% increase is the smallest jump out of those 5 instances though. And the total number of sales, 1,482, still remains quite low compared to other months of May in previous years. It's the second lowest number of sales for any May after May of 2020. Shocker. So it appears that interest rates continue to inhibit buyer activity, although that dynamic of the market is starting to change with an interest rate cut happening on June the 5th. New listings jumped up by 11% from April, which again is a pretty normal trend for this time of year, but note that the amount that new listings increased is double the amount that sales increased. So the ratio that describes the balance between sales and new listings fell again, this time down to 34%, which is quite low and happens to be the 4th lowest ratio going back to 2018. But in every year save one in that same time frame, we see a decline in that supply and demand ratio. So while the 34% is low and does indicate a buyer's market, the trend of where the numbers are going is very much in line with what we normally see. And I do want to clarify that only certain segments of the market favors buyers, and that segment is largely the condo market. We're seeing huge amounts of inventory, very few sales, and listings sitting for a very long time if they do eventually sell. So houses, certainly the better ones that are on the market, are getting pretty good attention at virtually all price points. And that number that we use to describe the rate at which homes are being purchased, it's called the months of inventory, rose from 3 to 3.5. So it would now take the market 3.5 months to sell out of inventory. Ultimately, the indicators are still causing a bit of confusion. 34% indicates a strong buyer's market, and 3.5 months of inventory indicates a seller's market that is on the verge of becoming balanced. I think it's this discrepancy between the two that show the difference between the condo and the house market. Similar but more pronounced trends happened in Etobicoke, North York, and Scarborough. Sales actually dropped by 6%, while new listings jumped up by 13%. So that ratio that describes the balance of supply and demand fell from 44 to 37%. That's a 7-point decline. Meanwhile, the months of inventory grew from 2.2 to 3, an increase of 0.8 months compared to the core's climb of half a month. So again, the overall numbers are slightly more seller friendly in those areas outside of the core, but they're trending in the same direction and are falling off a bit steeper as well. So it looks like it's the beginning of the usual summer slowdown, but I wonder if the recent interest rate cut changes that at all. My gut says that it doesn't change much except for buyer confidence and psychology, but not actual affordability. Now, if there's another cut at the end of July, maybe that sets up the fall to be a big rebounding time in the market. Stay tuned to find out. I'm Jamie Harnish, Toronto Real Estate Navigator with Bosley Real Estate. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you watching. If you're catching this on YouTube, make sure to like this video, hit the bell, and subscribe to this channel to make sure you don't miss any upcoming content.